and after show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Vitali Z, Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Steve on the Level, Thomas van der Zander, bit of a tongue twister, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Oh Wow, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name is Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unimento, M, Iron26, Endless, Goldie McKinnon, Retro Bill, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. And with that, I'll hand over to whoever is in the Politics Discord server today and G+, so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Well, the truth is nothing, but as I said, and what I say to people in general,
that's right.
That we can't take our sights for granted, you know? Everything we see isn't real. It's not true.
That's not true. You don't think reality is objective?
Oh, no, I think that's a different conversation, but essentially, sorry if I got mixed up in my words. What I'm trying to say essentially is the idea that, or because we see something for what something we think it is, it doesn't mean it's that thing. I mean, sure, we might see it flat because it looks flat, but it doesn't mean it's that thing necessarily. That's just a fact of life.
Yeah, well, what reason would we have to doubt our senses? And have our senses not evolved for our survival? Don't we depend on them?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So where did this idea of the globe originate in your mind? It wasn't something you came up with or any one of us. So you'd have to have probably a good, compelling reason to want to measure it in the first place. And I know that doesn't directly answer your question. But going back to how you measure it, I mean, we've got laser transits where lasers have been shot 10, 20, 30, 40 miles across water, across frozen lakes, across the terrain. And the deviation of the beam does not match what the claimed globes drop over distances. We've got long-range infrared video and photography, and also photogrammetry to do measurements, where basically flat earthers take high-end infrared optics and go up in airplanes and can see way too far for there to be a curvature of a globe.
Interesting.
And they measure it.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, we've got all stuff like this, radio transmissions too. So, but when it comes down to is water itself, I mean, I think the simplest proof is to just understand the behavior of water. You know, hydrostatic pressure is such that the pressure spreads out in water that's perpendicular to what's applied on the surface of it. So if you've got a downward pressure above, like let's say the air that's pressing on a lake, hydrostatic pressure spreads it out. The path of least resistance is outward horizontally. It's flat. It doesn't curve.
What does that mean, hydrostatic pressure?
I just explained it. I mean, you've got a contact medium between two states of matter. What?
So
Sorry,
are you saying
something?
I'm just trying to understand. Are you saying like it doesn't make sense that the air is pushing down on water?
No, it does. Air pushes down on water, and the force applied to the water runs perpendicular out towards the surface of its container. Perpendicular is 90 degrees. It's not curved.
So the fact that I'm just trying to comprehend it because you've thrown a lot of
water lays flat. Yeah, lazy water is flat, my dude.
What?
Water at rest is flat, not curved.
Isn't it just
large
level?
bodies of water? I'm not talking about the meniscus.
From my understanding, water isn't flat, it's level.
Level with respect to what?
With respect to the Earth's curvature.
Well, where's that curvature? That's what we've been asking. We don't see it. We don't measure it anywhere. It's assumed to be there. So listen, I mean, if you want gravity, we can say, yeah, I can give you gravity. You think
Mhm.
gravity is curved, right? You think that the field lines are all pulling in radially to one common Berry center
Mhm.
of Earth.
Mhm.
Well, where's the evidence of that? I could say, according to us, this effect of gravity runs perpendicular to a flat surface because it measures that way. Where's the curve?
So you're asking like, how do we prove gravity exists?
No, I can grant gravity is what I'm saying. Gravity doesn't prove that level is curved.
But if we go back to gravity, large bodies create spherical shapes.
Well, if we have a look in the chat at 12 minutes past the hour from
Mhm.
Science in Pre-K, si.edu, Science and Water, water will always form a flat surface unless acted upon by another force such as wind.
Is this
So
like the
flat.
level thing you've sent?
So flat, level, horizontal, all synonymous with each other.
So they're just synonyms. Is that what you're saying? Can I just also point something out? You see the leveling, the leveling tool they're using. Are you looking at that?
Right. It depends on gravity, which I just addressed.
Yeah, I understand that, but if you look at the bubble in the middle of the level tool, it looks pretty round. It's not like water just is flat.
Something to do with being
You know.
trapped
So
in a
what?
cylinder might help that situation.
Sorry, you're really one
Wait,
second.
you're saying that hold on. You're saying that the way the bubble forms is due to gravity?
No, I'm saying that water
That-
doesn't necessarily have
no.
to be flat.
All right, but you're trying to say that masses tend to coalesce into spherical forms due to gravity, and you pointed to the bubble.
No, I just find it quite ironic because we're talking about how water's always flat, I guess, and there's like a bubble, and that's showing like how it curves, I guess, how water can curve under different forces.
A
Do you
freaking
think
air
you live in a
bubble.
bubble?
Yeah.
It's a pretty general when you say a bubble, like what does that look like?
Well,
Like a bubble, like the
it's.
one I brought.
I just want to comment this. You brought it down to such a tiny scale, though, when we're talking about the surface of water at rest on the horizon, like large
No,
bodies
I
of water,
understand that.
not
I'm just
bubbles.
talking about the shapes that water forms, so it can be circular, I guess. It doesn't have to necessarily be level.
And that
That's
circle,
relative to the volume of the liquid, right? Because you can
Mhm.
have different shaped meniscuses depending on the shape of the container and the amount of volume of the liquid in that container. A
Mhm.
sufficiently tall cylinder filled up with water will have a very concave looking meniscus.
Mhm. Okay.
What's a
If you
meniscus?
fill it up further to the
So,
top, the meniscus will go convex.
What's a meniscus?
But
From
yeah,
a
you
meniscus
cared about
inside
the
of you.
geometry
contact,
around
the
here.
contact layer between air and water is the meniscus. Meanwhile, the pressure of the water is being applied outward against the surface of the container, perpendicular to the surface normal.
What's an
Okay.
abacus?
Oh
So,
gosh.
so on your like flat Earth, the water's just completely flat.
No, not on our flat Earth. That was a citation that I just gave you, unless it's acted upon by another force. And I said that flat, level, horizontal are all synonymous, yeah? They
But
basically
in that
mean the
sense,
same.
Mhm. Mhm.
They mean
But in that sense,
exactly the
yeah,
same, yeah?
yeah. But AJ, in that sense, I feel like you kind of proved the Earth is a globe because he said if another force is acting on it, therefore the
Oh,
force
so
of
what
gravity
is the,
on the
I said a
water
force like
creating
wind.
this
So
curved
what is the
shape.
force? What's the force?
Gravity, gravity acts on water.
Well, I'm afraid, my friend, that you're 110 years out of date, yeah, because gravity today is not a force.
Yeah, they don't teach that in
Are
college
we
anymore. Not for
are
100
we going to
years.
start talking about like space time and how it curves gravity and
That's
how?
what they teach gravity. Yes, that's what they teach gravity is in college. You can tell how educated someone is on this by whether or not they know that the current rhetoric is that gravity is bending and warping space time and not mass attracting mass Newtonian style.
Yeah, but I feel like that's kind of irrelevant because engineers don't really think
No,
about
it's
that.
not irrelevant
They
because general relativity states that there is no mass attracting mass.
Mhm.
It's not a force. It's a manifestation of the curvature of space time.
Mhm.
Right,
Right.
so not a
Also, when do
force.
engineers When do engineers even use mass attracting mass in anything practical ever?
Yeah, and I just want to point out something else ironic.
Never.
This you sent me another one when your Einstein theory of relativity. They're using balls to demonstrate that property. So I guess in that sense, you could say since the globe nature of the Earth, it's bent space
And
time
what's
because of its
happening
mass.
to the balls? They all roll to the center and crash.
Yeah.
Hello?
Well,
Yeah, and our contention is this is all bullshit.
no,
It's
it's
science
orbiting.
fiction. It's science fiction, dude.
Well, I think.
There's
Sorry,
not
I
been a
feel like you're.
single testable scientific hypothesis for the theory of relativity.
We can observe relativity. At least we can see muons in the sky and their
No,
half
we
lives.
can't.
You
We
We
can.
can't observe
you observe
relativity, dude.
We
You're
can
full of shit.
100%.
you observe and
You're,
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
send you
you're
the
full of shit.
experiment.
You observe and attribute. You observe and attribute. That's not
No,
the
it's
same
called
thing as
muon
proving
time
something
dilation.
scientifically through cause and effect relationships.
Is that not valid? The cause and effect relationships?
No,
no,
that's
because
valid, but observation and attribution is not a valid form of proof.
So you base your evidence purely off observation.
Observations is how you form a hypothesis in order to prove deductively.
But we can observe
You haven't done
muons
the
in the
second part
sky.
yet. You've done the first part with observations. You need to do the second part with a scientifically testable hypothesis.
When you say scientifically testable hypothesis, is that something that uses the scientific method?
Yes, precisely. If it doesn't use a scientific method, then it's pseudoscience.
Well, we can do the scientific
Like,
method with time dilation. We can have an dependent variable, controlled variables.
all right, so what's the independent variable in a scientific test for time dilation?
I guess that would be time itself.
So how are you
Concept.
going to
Yeah.
manipulate time,
You
Muppet?
So
Concept.
I'll give you an
right.
example of
You
what time
would
can
have
be
to
an
be you
independent
the
variable.
experimenter has to manipulate. You have to manipulate the independent variable. You have to do that. You can't manipulate time. And time is conceptual in the first instance. So I don't know how you'd propose to do that.
Well, I can 100% do that. I'll give you a perfect example. Say I want to get a good mark on a test. So what I'll do, my independent variable could be the time studied. My dependent variable could be the mark I get, and my controlled variables could be my study space. In that sense, time can 100% be my independent variable. I don't see any reason why it can't
No,
be.
time is a constant. You did not alter time. Time is constant.
But you can change a period of time.
Concept.
You didn't change the time itself. When you change the period of time, you know what you're changing? You're changing work energy, work output that takes place in that time. That's what you're changing. You're changing what you're doing. The time is
Exactly.
being given to you. You don't change the time.
fact of the matter is, in
You
natural
change what.
science, it's got to be. Sorry, keep going, man. I'll come in.
Yeah, I'm
No,
listening.
I'm done. I was going to ramble, and I have to get into work. I'm going to listen now. Take it over, AJ, and stay tuned for Nathan Oakley from Flat Earth Debate in 40 minutes.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
we need to see a physical observation. Yeah, something physical. You don't have something physical in general relativity being time and space. You cannot manipulate time and space. You can't hand me a piece of time. It's not something physical that we can observe or test.
Mm. All right. So I'll pose it to you in a different way if that one doesn't work. But I've studied muons half-life a lot, and one of the ways we can actually, I guess, manipulate the dependent variable is the distance traveled, and we can manipulate that using the velocity of the muons themselves. I would like to point that out too. So that's another way we could go about that, and that doesn't use time, and that I guess fits into the rhetoric you're talking about.
So did you say distance
So
travelled
it
would be
does use the
the?
scientific method. It doesn't
So-
necessarily change the time, but the velocity of the muons and the distance traveled are different to the relativistic ones,
So how
and
are you manipulating the distance travelled
No, you're saying that's
of
the
something
through the
in the
velocity.
first place?
You're saying that's the dependent variable, right?
Mhm.
What's a dependent variable?
The distance traveled.
No, what is a
It depends on the velocity.
Yeah, what is a dependent variable? What makes something a dependent variable?
Are we going back to year 10? Would you like me to explain you use a scientific method?
I'll ask the
I feel like
question
this is a
again.
bit demeaning.
It seems like I'm being asked if we're doing time travel to year 10. No, we're not doing that. I'm asking you what a dependent variable is. Third time.
The outcome in a sense. I haven't really. The independent variable is the thing that you're changing.
Then that's what the independent variable. Fourth time.
Fourth
Fourth time.
Independent
Fourth
variable.
time. What's a dependent variable? Something you've described as being a distance travelled. What is a dependent variable? 5th time.
Is that not valid?
You haven't told me yet. You've started to waffle on about what an independent variable would be. Now you're talking through me clarifying for the 6th time that I'm asking you to define, hopefully without interruption, to the 6th repetition of you defining what makes a dependent variable a dependent variable. What is a dependent variable? 7 times.
Just so you know,
Something that
Nathan,
depends
you're
on another
dropping out.
variable.
No, you
Anyhow, spoke
fuckwit.
up.
That's not what a dependent
Nathan,
variable
just
is.
so you know,
I
Nathan,
can
just so
cope.
you know,
Meta.
mate, you're
Meta. I can
dropping out a
cope.
little bit.
Meta. Thank you. No, that's
Yeah,
not
I'm
what.
trying
No.
to inform you.
Oh my God.
Your mic is cutting out. We're missing half of what you're saying.
Oh,
It
okay.
is
Thank you for
pointless
letting me know.
yelling at him if it's not working.
So
How's
we would
that?
like to
Hold
continue
on.
the
Just
conversation.
one sec. Sorry. How's that? Is that any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Meta. Is that any better?
Heaps better, mate. Go for it.
Okay, I just reset voice meter. No, that's not what a dependent variable is. You're wrong. Why are you talking about this stuff? You don't know what you're talking about. I'm still talking. I'm still talking. Shut your stupid mouth. Why are you discussing this stuff? You don't know what you're talking about.
That's an assumption, but okay.
I've just clarified with you what you define as a dependent variable. Yo, fuckwit. You haven't got the slightest smegging clue what you're babbling about. You're a shit-for-brains retard. Now I'm asking, based on the demonstrable fact that you're a shit-for-brains retard, based on you not knowing what a dependent fucking variable is, I'm going to call you a shit-for-brains fucking retard and ask why the fuck you're engaging in this conversation, you stupid fucking retard who doesn't know what a fucking dependent variable is. Not an assumption, a demonstrable fact based on me asking you that fucking question 7 fucking times and you're giving the wrong answer. So, fuckwit, why are you even having this conversation? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you stupid man. Why are you talking about this stuff? Dickhead.
What am I saying that's wrong specifically?
Why are you talking about this stuff? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you stupid pretender clown. I'm asking why you're engaging in this pretender clownery. Pretending you know what a fucking dependent variable is for a start. You don't, shit for brains retard. So, based on the fact you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, I'm asking you, based on the fact you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, why you're engaged in conversation here. Based on the fact you don't know what the fuck you are talking about, you stupid dick.
I studied time dilation for 6 months.
I don't ask about that. I asked you what a fucking dependent variable was and you didn't know, you stupid retard. Now, based on the fact you didn't know what the fuck you were talking about, I'm now asking you, based on that fact being established, why you'd be engaged in a conversation here, you stupid muppet, who doesn't know what he's talking about. That's not an invitation to talk about time dilation, you stupid spastic. It's asking why the fuck you're talking to us at all, based on the fact you don't know what you're on about.
That's not an argument.
It's me pointing out what a fucking retard you are. I'm not arguing anything. I'm pointing out facts. Fact. You're a spastic. Oi, spastic. Don't fucking talk to us anymore. Shut this spastic up. He thinks that he's asking for an argument. I'm telling you off, you stupid retard. You think I'm having an argument with you? I'm telling you off, you stupid thick idiot. This is me engaging in debate with you. I've listened to you be a spastic for several minutes. Then I've stepped in and absolutely pinned you to the wall on what a fucking retard you are. And based on me pinning you to the wall, 7 repetitions of the same fucking question you didn't know the answer to. You didn't say after the first time, I don't know. You took 7 attempts and gave the wrong answer. Oi, spastic! Fuck off back to Spasticville with other retards who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Then you won't get told off by me for being a retard, engaging people who do know what they're talking about in conversation. Fuck off to some Globe forum where you can talk tosh and idiocy with other retards. Do you understand me, you stupid man?
I don't understand why you're getting...
Good, now fuck off to retardville, spastic. Now I've told you off. Now off ski fuck ski, you stupid dick. That means don't answer rhetorical shit for brains.
No swearing.
I hate spastic pretender clowns. People who come along and start talking about science and gravity like they know what they're talking about. They don't. He's a pretender clown retard. Doesn't deserve our time. He's done no study. He doesn't know what the bloody hell he's babbling about. And when asked to justify his incorrect answer about what a dependent variable would be, after attempting to justify what an independent variable was, he told me he knew about time dilation. Yo, fuck off to a pretender clown forum, retard. Yeah? Because you'll just get told off by me, I'll tear you a new one. In front of a whole room full of people. Notice no one's stopping me, retard. Why am I justified in calling you a retard? What does that word mean? Retard. To hold back. That's what you are, sir. Held back mentally, you fucking retard. Telling this room what a dependent and independent variable is. Talking about gravity and science. No spastic. My name is Nathan Oakley. I'm the one telling you off for being thick as shit and telling you to get lost. Go and talk to other like-minded spastics about science. Okay, dickhead? That's what's just happened.
Oh, God.
Good morning, Nathan. Welcome.
For 7 years.
Yeah, it's good to be here amongst spastics, it seems. Spastic globe
Well, have your
believers.
coffee.
Thanks for picking up where I left off.
I listened long
Yeah, I was
enough
a
till
little
I
bit
could
slow on
tolerate
the
it no
uptake
more.
there. I
I'm
was
so
in the middle of
sorry.
this-
You were doing an excellent job. I'm sorry, AJ, as well, yeah. You were doing a great job, Amish.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I
Amish
appreciate
was.
that. I really have to go.
I was a little bit slow on the uptake. I got a couple of things going on at the moment.
Painful tooth, and I am furious with everything.
But Nathan, he studied time dilation for 7 years.
Do you want shouting out too, Neil?
Hooey vey.
Went to 2 dentists yesterday, and I'm still in pain. So I'm pretty bad with everything.
Just
Yeah,
get it pulled, Nathan.
my tolerance for tossers is very low.
Why?
After 10 years of being called a stupid flat earther. All right. Well, as a stupid, quote, flat earther, I'm going to start telling these dicks how stupid they are. Really, really viciously. Like I just did. All right, well, I wonder why Nathan's like that. I've been called a dickhead, stupid idiot, flat earther for 10 years. And then dickhead idiots, actual dickhead idiots, come along and start telling us about science. And you know what happens to them? I take great pleasure in ripping them a new asshole in front of an whole group of people. Stunning everybody to silence based on this globe-believing dick's ignorance.
Sidecheck go crazy.
I'm pretty sure he started out with that his dependent variable was moving. Yeah, distance.
Yeah, not a phenomena. Just for anyone wondering, well, what is a dependent variable? That would be the observed natural phenomena you're studying, trying to figure out what caused it. What caused distance that we travel? Hello, spastic, get in a different room. Yeah, that's the kind of answer you'll get from me if you give that as your dependent variable. It's not really an observed natural phenomena we need to know the cause of now, is it? Idiot.
Well, no, his claim was things going down due to gravity and a mass attracting mass. So I'm not
Well,
quite
like clouds.
sure how
Clouds going down towards the ground with gravity. Clouds, right?
Yeah. I
Oh,
was
right.
just
Oh,
confused on how
dickhead,
distance
we
was
need
the
to
dependent
science
variable
stuff
for
going
gravity.
down. Oh, right, I'm looking up at clouds, you stupid boy. Why would we be sciencing the fact that all things go down when I'm looking up at clouds now? Oh, is it because all things don't go down and this false premise that you need to hold you to a ball you believe in needs justifying with pseudoscience? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Unfortunately, you don't know what science is, and I'll catch you out immediately and make you feel like about this big, globe-believing
Nathan.
idiot.
Don't you know clouds aren't affected by gravity?
Obviously not. So not all things, so not a universal, not a law, not a force, not affecting clouds. Yeah, I got that. bullshit. It's part of their story to justify why they're not flying off a stupid ball they've invented with flat Earth measurements. Doesn't mean anything. It's just a band-aid for a stupid part of their story.
I was told the other day that the rotation is what keeps them on the ball, and that it's not a centrifugal force.
What, axial rotation that's only capable of description from respect to a flat plane? That axial rotation. That frame of reference that will be flat. Turning and rotating about an axis. Yeah, you'll need a flat Earth for that description. What's that you say? The flat Earth description of axial rotation keeps you held to a ball that is derived from that flat Earth measured plane that you're using to create it. I'm thinking you're in a little fantasy la la land. Based on balls you think you're standing on. How stupid.
Damn, you believe in the globe? That must be pretty gay.
In QE's song, he's got the hardest part of being a glober is telling your daddy that you're gay. That's in the song that AI came up with for him.
You believe in balls? Gross.
Heliocentric spinning balls going around the sun, derived from flat Earth measurements, not just balls in general.
The hell was that?
Somebody joining my G Plus panel. Hey, sensual.
That was
Good
the
afternoon, how are
doorbell.
you?
Man, I've been hearing many weird noises.
Maybe ask your doctor. I can't help you with that, I'm afraid. I hear weird voices occasionally. Then I realise it's Neil talking straight through me.
My doctor told me that he doesn't exist. What does that mean?
Who's he? Your companion that sat next to you right now?
Yeah.
Invisible.
No, I could see him.
I'll tell him I said hi.
Hi.
Well, that was fun.
Well, I understood your rage, Nathan. I know exactly where it's coming from.
From toothache. That's where it's coming from.
Nah, but it's all the years too. A guy comes in, you listen, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. It does get frustrating.
On the upside, having toothache, I've cleaned the whole house. Just to take my mind off it. I've vacuumed and I've bleached and I've sprayed mould remover around the window in the bathroom and things like that. Like all the dirty jobs that you leave for ages. Done it all just to take my mind off toothache.
How can you do anything with a toothache?
Wait. Gravity's real. How do you explain helium balloons?
What's gravity?
Is it magic?
Magic isn't real. Neither is gravity.
I'd much rather believe that black magic is real compared to gravity.
Well, but you've hit the nail on the head with the words you've used, right? Belief is what it requires. But you don't have to believe in anything, and everyone's entitled to believe in whatever they choose to, right? If you want to believe that you need your band-aid of gravity to hold you on a spinning water ball, it just means you don't know the origins of the flat plane measurements that were used to create that ball to have a necessity for a band-aid of gravity to hold you on it in reification. If you don't know any of that stuff, then you're going to tell yourself that, well, of course gravity's real. What's gravity? What, bent space-time, mass attracting mass? Both things aren't true. One's completely conceptual. The other is defined by looking up at the clouds. I'm not normally as aggressive as I was earlier, right? And it is genuinely my sincere apologies to anybody who might be put off chatting. However, if you do decide to chat in about half an hour, 25 minutes-ish time, when we go live, please don't swear. Now, that may seem very hypocritical given that I've just offloaded on that guy with both barrels, but when we're live, please don't swear. Also, the reason we frequent the politics server on a Friday is to spread the good word of Earth being measured flat. And my suggestion to flat earthers, close your ears, globe believers, for a moment, is that you lead with this fact. All roads lead to a flat Earth. All globe claims will have their origins in the flat Earth measurements they require to make their globe claim. Earth is functionally and measured flat in all instances. If you lead with that as a flat earther, it kind of seems like the right thing to do, and I'm just promoting that message. Other than not swearing, that's it. Have fun. Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well.
What do you mean Earth is measured flat? What do you take a tape measure from one end to the other? Come on, that sounds ridiculous.
You could describe it that way. It's completely charted flat, isn't it? I mean, you've mapped out the positions with respect to a plane where all the stars are over. You've tracked the patterns of the stars to know at what time they're going to be over what position on the land. It's all done with angles. It's all measured with respect to a plane. You get an average system to describe that over vast areas with the sea, aka sea level. Every aspect of Earth in terms of how it's measured, how it's functioning, how it functioned, and how it will function in the future is flat. There's no getting away from it. There's no getting around it. In order to create a globe to believe in, you need those measurements of a flat Earth. I'm just happy to be here, though, in the politics server with you fine folk. A real pleasure to have you, Nathan. Oh, you're so kind. Well, I like being here on a Friday. It's such fun.
Oh, okay, but my first impression is you just fucking killed somebody.
Say again? That I killed somebody?
Yeah, you just fucking killed somebody, and that's my first impression of you.
I don't know what that means. But no, I'm
Talking about
definitely
the guy
not a
welcome,
murderer
Nathan.
for sure.
Kill them
Welcome,
with
Nathan. We're
kindness.
happy to have you. Sorry, man. I was just, I've got a couple of things going on at once at the same time and I couldn't speak. Sorry. But yeah, welcome. We're happy to have you. Love having you here on Fridays. Everyone's been hanging out here waiting for you to get here.
Oh, that's so sweet. I know it's not true.
You nearly just, that last dude nearly cost me like $5,000.
Cost you $5,000.
Just
Well,
as
how
I
so?
started. Yeah, I just entered a breakout trade that reversed and it was just about to hit my liquidation just as I started speaking about science. And then all my headphones were going off with my alerts and I was trying to get in and save it and add to it. And I reckon I did it by about 20 cents. I just saved it. I nearly
way.
lost
Oh, cool.
$5,000.
Good job we weren't too much of a distraction. 20 seconds
No,
more.
that's when I first started. That was when I started talking to that guy about science and, what science was. And I was a bit, as I said, I was a bit slow off the uptake. I had like 3 things going on at once. It was a bit of a stressful moment.
Glad you coped.
Got it. We're
How's,
good.
how's things been in the last week since we were last here? Any exciting stuff going on in politics?
Nah, same arguments. Yeah. Same trolls, anti-flat earthers. Did have a young guy from Australia today that seemed pretty interested. So we'll see if he comes back.
I'll try and be a bit calmer with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
That said, I would stand by every word of it. That is to say, after 10 years of abuse that's accepted by the general public, you can't expect somebody who's actually a demonstrable idiot to be treated any other way than we've been treated for the last 10 years. Like, all right, so it's only okay if you're calling me an idiot without actually having any demonstrable reason to justify you calling me an idiot. It's just an automatic assumption that society accepts. That's okay. But if I catch this guy being a complete idiot and he won't shut up, feels he's got the right to continue, start asking questions, asking me if I'm entering into debate with him or actually telling him off, it's unreasonable for me to treat him like dirt. All right. Interesting double standard the society we live in has. I'll just ponder that rather than justifying in any way what I've done.
Yeah, just because he's Australian doesn't mean he's a criminal. He's a bad person. It could be parking fines.
Or it could be a Kiwi. You never know. It's very hard to tell them apart.
Insert angry Aussie biting now.
In 3, 2. No, the stereotypical angry Aussie didn't pipe his head or whatever. Pipe up. I tend to find Kiwis are a lot more chill about this sort of thing. No, not going to get a bite for that either. Fair enough. Hey, John.
Hey, what was you fishing for?
I was fishing for trout. What's with you? Just got up.
I feel horrible. No, I feel horrible. I just got off work.
Oh no, you've just finished work. It's time to enjoy yourself and have time to. Now you feel ill.
I felt ill all day. Yeah.
Oh, you worked ill. That sounds bad.
I don't know if I could call that what I did today work. It was more hiding for pay.
Yeah, I've done that a few times on the show. I think you were one of the reciprocants of my message when I put it out there. I'm like, I've got a really bad toothache today to the point where I can't talk. If I'm going to run a show, please can you join? And you did, from memory. That was me hiding for pay, if you want to call it the same thing.
It swings and roundabouts, isn't it? But yesterday, Nathan, you was on it for how many hours straight? Good 3 hours. So fair play for yesterday. That was an excellent show, an excellent video. Very well done.
As if you guys think the Earth's round.
You mean round?
Like a coin.
And you're not going to find out, I guess.
Did that guy bring up the bubble and the level and claim that water takes the shape of a ball using that as proof? Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, you were correct in hearing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's obvious, Neil, that having no point higher or lower or another is dropping away at a given rate.
No. He had 7 years. He studied time dilation for 7 years.
Yeah, you just get in your car and drive 20 kilometers and you've dilated time, apparently.
Well, I'm glad I can rely on you lot while I'm distracted temporarily by my wife talking about car repairs.
Or you could be talking about cars that can't be repaired, like mine.
Got a scrap value, right? You're going to scrap it.
Yeah, that car shot.
Because if you're insured, you'll get the insurance and they'll scrap it then.
Well, that's what I asked them. I said, because they're still sticking me with like an $8,000 bill, because they don't pay you note. They just pay you what they tell you the car's worth. I said, okay, are you going to tow the car to my property? They said, no, we can't do that. Well, then, if I'm paying for it, why am I not getting the car?
Well, when I buy a product online, I may have to pay for post and packaging as well as the product. Maybe they're looking at it in those terms.
No, what I'm saying is, while I had the car, I was making monthly payments. No problem. So now you still want me to make monthly payments and you're not going to give me the car? I don't care if I got to look at it in my driveway, totaled the way it is. And praise God that I didn't die in it. But if you're going to make me pay, give me my car.
Fair enough.
Neil, they probably directly scrapped that thing as soon as they got it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Then don't ask me for a dime then.
It doesn't work like that.
What do you mean? And hold on a second. I don't want to get too upset because my back is really hurting. But what do you mean it don't work like that? It worked like that for a year while I had the car in my driveway. I made the payments. Now you want me to continue to make the payments just because I had an accident, but you're not going to give me my car.
Okay.
Come on.
What do you mean give you your car? It's your car. If you left it 3 miles down the road, would you start moaning in the same vein? Oh, well, why aren't you giving me my car? Your car? You go and get it if you want it. Find out where it is, go and get it.
Oh, me, I can't. No. I can't have that car. They said that's not the way it works. I said I'll go pick it up right now.
Yeah, because it's an
No,
insurance
that's not how it
write-off. They now own the car because it's been written off, and they've paid out whatever the car was worth, blue book value. Now, if you're in negative equity on the car, who cares? They don't care. They paid out what the insurance paid out. They then take ownership of the car because they paid for it based on you being insured for if you have a loss, which it is. It's a total loss. Well, that means you've suffered a total loss. They've insured you for that, but then the car goes to scrap, but they get the value for it or auction it because it's theirs now. They've given you the money. The fact that it doesn't cover the deficit, they don't care. That's your problem.
Yeah, but if it's a total loss, then it's a total loss. You know what I mean? Like, why does he have to pay it? Right. That doesn't make sense. It's probably a bankruptcy issue. So, yeah, you want the money? Go get it out of the car, jerk off.
Let it go, Neil. Just let it go.
Oh, hey, Nathan, do you think I'm going to continue to pay them $692 a month? You're out of your freaking mind.
Well, you should. You should, or you'll have. Well, you should, or you'll have debt collectors on you.
I don't give a shit. Get in line with the other ones.
Okay. Well, you need to write that. You need to figure out how you're going to write that debt off, or get that debt written off, as opposed to just not paying it. Research how you can get it written off. The debt. If you don't, you have to pay it.
What do you mean research? I don't understand. I can get it written off somehow.
Well, you might be declaring bankruptcy to do so. I don't know what options you have. You need to research what options you will find tolerable to relinquish yourself of that debt.
No, Nathan, don't give any more advice on air. It's a bad idea for this.
Yeah, fair enough. You need to figure it out, though, Neil. You need to do your own research in this regard.
Yeah, I have. Don't worry about it.
And Neil, I ain't saying
what I will say is,
about it, but just
Sorry.
not on air.
Pay your debts. If you sign a contract and say you're going to pay someone a certain amount, what happens with the item you take ownership of is irrelevant to them. You've signed a contract. You've said you'll pay them a certain amount of money. Pay them.
For the purchased item.
Yeah, which you destroyed. That's not their problem either.
Doesn't matter. It's mine. So if I destroyed it, I want it in my freaking driveway.
No, you had a separate company that insured you, and they have covered what they have established as the losses based on its current value.
I paid insurance into that. All right, change the subject because this is a scam system. We know we're all a part of it. The
Look, I'm not
fiat
questioning
banking system,
right.
and then I get another dime.
It's a different subject. That's a different discussion. The validity of the system that I'm labouring is irrelevant to this discussion. You're in contract with someone. That's it.
For a vehicle.
No,
I don't see it in my driveway.
No.
And I was told I can't pick it up.
You're wrong. You won't shut up, though. Not for a vehicle. No. That makes it sound like you've got some ongoing obligation to own a vehicle as a part of this no. The purchase, at the point of purchase, that's it. Now it's your bag, your problem, your car, your ownership, your servicing, your problem if it crashes. Nobody else's. The contract doesn't say you'll have it for the time that the loan lasts. Far from it. If you drive it off the forecourt and immediately total it, does that mean, oh, well, all bets are off with the contract? No. It doesn't work like that.
Change the freaking subject.
You were the one who brought it up. Good to have you back, Neil. Thank you for keeping the subject going so smoothly the way it needs to go, and then telling me to change the subject based on what you've brought up. It's not even like I can blame you for the stony cold silences that are now following, given that I tore someone a strip or two prior to this. So I've got to take at least partial responsibility for the bits of dead air that we're going to probably have.
It probably scared everybody away.
Well, we don't seem to have too many globers. Yeah.
We don't.
Would you want to? Would you want to after that?
I think we got.
I think he just means generally, actually. It just means there's not very many globers in. Not that there's was 20 and 10 of them just sloped off after listening to one of their compadres be demeaned by me.
Wait a second. I thought they were going to take over the channel. That's what I heard when it first started. It would be a globe. It would be a globe channel in no time. I think they even gave themselves a name, didn't they?
Yeah, they did actually, but didn't work. They ended up having to go and make their own. The Globe Gangsters.
Yeah, but hold on. In order to get a title like that, that means they would have had to been in here murdering people in the argument. Then you can go off and say with the gangsters.
Nah, they lost the arguments. They went and made their own little clubhouse, and they're all plastic gangsters.
What's a plastic gangster?
Pretend gangster.
Gangsters with that means gangsters with water guns.
That's it. Plastic gangsters. Unfortunately, when they fall over and skin their knee and drop their water gun, the water's going to end up level and flat.
Nathan, I think we're going to start having a problem with this downward bias again. Thought we dealt with it, but I'm hearing it all over the place now.
We hear it every day.
I hope it's not ballers saying downward bias.
Flat earthers too. They seem to think that there's a downward, things are, falling down. Everything falls down. There's a downward bias.
Well, it's not like you're saying there's an upward preference.
Breaking up.
I don't know that was John. I think that might have been someone in Discord, actually.
Yeah, we spoke at the same time.
Flat earthers. I was just saying, either guys bias, so they can start talking about that.
Yeah, it's you that's breaking up.
Not getting a word of that, Vax.
How are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Welcome.
Indeed, welcome
Hello.
one and all. Now, I've given my little preamble while we were in the pre-show, after swearing and shouting at a Globe believer for being a numpty idiot, pretender clown. So you can enjoy that if you remember after the fact. But in the meantime, we're in the politics server, so we can spread the good word of Earth being measured flat. With that in mind, I do have a housekeeping question to ask. Is there any evidence you can acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline?
Negative.
The elevation angle requires a plane of reference. The plane of reference must be parallel with the surface of Earth.
Yeah, otherwise it wouldn't be an angle.
Oh, that leaves us in good standing. That's pretty much it in terms of housekeeping question. I wanted to ask the one, because we were discussing the notion of Earth being measured flat, as I say, in the pre-show. In possibly the only discussion that will take place here today, based on what AJ told us just before we went live. There's not a number of Globe participants in the politics Discord server today. Stark change from when we first joined about 12 months ago. We were being told that there's a force to be reckoned with, a Globe Force 6. Now they've retreated into obscurity, and we're here with absolutely zero participation from anybody who's not a pretender clown from the Globe side of this discussion, which is a bit of a pity. We have got a continuation video if it does go completely silent. Go ahead, whoever that was.
Why don't you ask the latest housekeeping question? I've been waiting for that one, because I think that one's really good.
Any evidence you can have pitch data on a globe?
I have Pure and Simple in the chat who would like your confirmation, Nathan, that you would like a debate. Pure and Simple, his name is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
Hello. So just to get this straight, would you like to debate the shape of the Earth either alone or at most with 3 or 2 other flat earthers in the same VC? And I record this for YouTube.
I broadcast this for YouTube. We are live now to an audience already. What was your evidence for a globe? Feel free to offer it.
What, so we're doing this right now?
What's your evidence for a globe?
I can do it right now. I can moderate for you, but Pure and Simple, just be aware if there's any speaking over or anything like that, we'll be muting. But yeah, go right ahead. Present your evidence, please.
Got it. All done. Are you okay if I record as well, or is that a problem?
Yeah, it's a problem.
Well, in that case, I was hoping I could record it.
What you could do is you could actually go to Nathan Oakley 1980s YouTube channel, and you could then link it to your channel with the debate.
Either way,
you know what?
The logistics of what we're doing here, sir. You've just joined a random room and you want to record it. The answer's no. If you want to record rooms that you establish over a long period of time, and great, if you get the connections that I've got to be able to do this, then wonderful. The answer's no. Second time. What's your evidence for a globe? So we could have the debate you wanted. That we are definitely doing, to answer your first question. Yes, we are doing this. It's the fourth time I've asked you for your evidence of a globe. And all we've done is discuss whether or not you'll get to record my show. No. What's your globe evidence? Fourth time.
I'm not saying to record your show. I'm asking.
Do you want to remove this guy from this discussion? Should we remove you? Do you need to be asked again for your fifth rendition of the question to start the debate going? Or did you want to continue to discuss whether or not you'll get to record my show on broadcasting live? Do I need to tell you a third time the answer's no? Or are you going to present some globe evidence, or are you going to be removed for not participating in the debate you suggested you want to have? If you want to have a debate, present some bleeding. Don't talk through me. Certainly don't offer some belligerent response in the middle of me talking. That'll get me calling you a wanker for talking straight through the middle of telling you off. Because I've had 6 attempts to get some globe evidence from you, sir. Doesn't seem like you want a debate in spite of you asking about the logistics of recording the debate you're not having. I'm broadcasting it live. Give us your globe evidence or sod off.
Why so aggressive?
Get rid of him. This guy's a dickhead. I'll offer some evidence for Earth being flat, because this dickhead didn't want to take the 7th opportunity. He wanted to discuss something else about the formatting and my attitude. Meanwhile, Earth's measured flat, dickhead. Your globe belief that you were going to debate for would have been based on the measurements of a flat Earth to create the fantasy ball you thought you were living on and in 7 attempts didn't offer any evidence for. Meanwhile, we've charted, mapped, navigated, sailed upon, flown across, built upon Earth as a flat plane. It's a prerequisite for your globe belief. That's my evidence in this debate. Just to add one final point, it's not a debate, it's a fact. Earth's measured flat. That's what I've got to offer, son. You can check it out live on my channel. It's called Nathan Oakley 1980. If you want to see that which you didn't have the wherewithal to sort out before you got here, you're recording and broadcasting that I am doing. Yeah? You can check out you not offering Jack in 7 attempts and me telling you Earth's measured flat. There's no debate here. Hope that's clear.
And before I unmute you, pure and simple, all we need you to do is present your evidence. We didn't know to speak about Nathan's
No, he's had that chance. No, he doesn't have to present his evidence. I gave him 7 opportunities. Now he has to respond to what I've told him. That's Earth's measured flat. He can respond to that. I gave him 7 opportunities to offer globe evidence, and he talked about the recording he isn't doing.
Cool.
Fuck with me. I'm recording it right now.
So was that your response to me telling you that Earth was flat, sir? Hello, pure, simple. You're in a debate with me. I've told you Earth's measured flat.
The server muted him, Nathan, because his response was that he's recording right now. So he's been asked not to record by yourself. So I figured at that point I was going to exclude him from the conversation.
Let me get it straight.
But if you want to continue.
In defiance and belligerence of me telling him no, he's going to literally take the money out of my pocket. I broadcast so I can feed my family, you stupid boy. You think when I tell you no, you're not going to take the money out of my mouth by broadcasting that which I have made a living, creating this environment to be in, broadcasting it. You've just decided you're going to record here, in spite of me telling you 3 times no. Oh, what a wanker. Wanker. You can watch yourself being called a wanker and a belligerent little twat on Nathan Oakley 1980, where this is live. Massive shout out to all of you in the live stream chat. Good to have you all. Thank you very much. Please share the show. Next.
Well, now, the information that you just gave out to him will not be heard in his recording. It will be a discussion on how upset you are instead of dealing with any of the statements you made.
Who cares? They got nothing.
You've got nothing but to piss me off about how I earn my living broadcasting this stuff. Building up relationships with the politics server so I can be here. And get away with swearing and shouting at their guests. I'm so sorry. I have got toothache. I tried to justify it.
I'm pretty sure that the audience members can hear just what occurred, yeah? Because I offered him a solution to his recording, which was to put a link out onto his page stating that I'm debating Nathan Oakley. Here is the link to the debate on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, yeah? But instead, We don't get any evidence, and no rebuttals.
A shame.
I think when
It's
I
not
think when you
about
took
the
him off
debate.
mute, hold on, I think when you took him off mute, you caught him telling somebody that he was recording right now.
Yeah,
No, that was
it's
his
not about the
response
debate
when
for
we
them.
opened up the mic. That was his first response. Yeah. Well, I'm recording right now.
Yeah, pure belligerence. Yeah, you go to a rock concert, you watch Michael Jackson, and they go, no recording. You go, I'm recording anyway. Oh, well, that's one way to get you thrown out by a bouncer.
Well, the thing is, it's not about the debate for them. It's about the appearance that there is a debate, right? They need it to be controversial, the measurements. But then they'll turn around and use those measurements to try to prove a globe with it. It's ridiculous.
So for anybody on the
Were you
globe
going to
side...
jump in and...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, AJ.
I think Nate was jumping in before, unless you were just hot micing, Nate. But
might be just hot micing. I have nothing to add.
Fair enough, we just hot micing.
Thank God.
Yes, you were just hot micing, Nate. Nate.
Yeah, what's up?
He's just hot micing.
I was I muted my mic on my headset.
You're muting the server. Right, we might respond to a video as there's very little going on. After 12 months of being in politics. Go ahead.
We do have someone new in here. We have Art. Art, welcome to the channel. What brings you to the show tonight? 24/7 Discord and the Nathan Oakley Flat Earth debate. Hello, Art. New VX. I can't say it.
Art New Hoax, is it?
Hugh Hoax. We're going nowhere.
That's okay. I've planned for this eventuality, AJ. I do have a video that we were covering yesterday. And being as we've got a whole room full of people hearing us chit-chatting about a video that we're responding to will invariably generate a response from people who are sat on the sidelines, potentially wanting to put their 2 penny within. Or maybe not, we'll see. Ultimately, I have got a backup plan if we end up sitting in a lot of dead air, because there's a lot of fearful globe believers that don't necessarily want to get into the wrangle-dangle, and who could blame them?
Silence is deafening.
I'm kind of disappointed because I know that there is no debate, but like I was hoping the guy would at least yield and try to come up with some globe proof. What a disappointment.
Well, that was why I asked him, because I knew there was no rebuttal to what Nathan said, so I just wanted to try and get something from him.
What are you going to rebut? That we utilize the plane of reference to build upon, navigate? There's nothing to rebut.
I think we just totally threw him off when he said we could debate right now. I don't think he was ready for that.
No, his only option was confessional debating.
Wait, again, AJ? Sorry, Sensual. AJ then
Oh,
Sensual.
I was just reading the chat. He was offering in the chat, yeah. So I thought, oh, let's read it out and get him up here.
Yeah, it's like, you want to have a gun battle? Yeah, okay. You pull your gun out and they go, whoa, 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 whoa. We need to fill out forms. We need to go and we have dinner together. You're like, what? I've got my gun. You're asking for a gunfight, right?
Well, I
Morning,
kind of need
morning.
you all to bring the gun. And could you fill out this form so that I can use your gun to have the gunfight with you?
I've got to set up my own cameras and lighting and special effects and blue screens. I was hoping to record this gunfight. Oh, really? Well, we're already doing all of those things. Where's your gun? Well, I need to also set up those things. We're already recording second times a chat. That's where we go with these idiot globe believers who have nothing at all to offer to alleviate the pain and offer some relief to the audience that might be watching on their side, the globe believing numpties that might be tuning in. This is what you're going to give them. I thought I was going to get to record this random stream that I don't own and have no association with any of the owners and haven't built a relationship with. You thought you could record it, did you, dickhead? All right, well, that makes you very stupid, doesn't it? Maybe go and build a relationship with a different server and arrange a time to come in weekly like I've done. Then you won't get a no for an answer while somebody's already broadcasting live. What an idiot. That's the assumptive globe-believing dickhead entitled asshole for you. I can just record anyway and will. No, you'll get your ass kicked out by a bouncer. That's what you get in
Yeah, you
globe
got a
believers.
3-day ban.
That's what you get. That's what you get in globe believers. If you're watching, 56 people tuned in. Please share the show if you've not done so already. 58 people watching. Going up slowly. In case you are unaware, we're in politics today if you're watching me live on YouTube. Fun will be had by all. There is a link to join if you want to join the politics server. We'll stick a link in the live stream chat and you can be one of the participants if you happen to be a globe believer and feel you can do better than the already in existence participants of this particular server. Then feel free to click the link that goes by in the live stream and join the politics server, which is a great server. You should all join anyway. It's great. They're very hospitable to me, even when I'm in a bad mood and swearing at people. Thank you again, by the way. Check it out if you're in my membership. Go and check it out in the pre-show.
Back.
Again?
We have a troll that keeps popping in and spurging out. He's, I'm hoping he'll stay, but he just comes in, says something stupid, and then leaves.
Well, fun. You got to do it. Kids say.
I run into the same problems with my 2-year-old.
Yeah, problem is, I think this is adults, yeah? Globers.
It makes you regress, doesn't it, to the point where you were first told the lie about being on a ball. Might be you remembering it being dangling above your crib for all I know, but you regress to that stage when you first got exposed to this nonsense and behaved like that person at that age.
It's tied to the
The modern ding dong ditch.
Well done, John.
The modern ding dong ditch.
Yeah. Again, Duncan. One more time. Sorry.
Sorry, just the modern ding dong ditch now. They just pop in and run away.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but what I was going to talk about was lighting poos on fire, and I thought it wouldn't be appropriate, but I'm glad you got there first with something more tame.
Well, to be fair, it is kind of intimidating to go up against you guys.
Well, were you here earlier while I was getting angry, Matthew? Is that what you were inferring?
No, I was saying it's intimidating.
Is that Mr. Learns?
I just want to establish if he's being sarcastic or not, because I don't know Matthew well enough to know his tone. Was that sarcastic, or are you being sincere?
No, I'm being sincere. It's like if you're in a room full of people with whom you disagree, it's a intimidating thing. So I understand, but that doesn't mean you have to do this ding dong ditch thing. So I agree.
Oh, now I understand what you mean. Yeah, rather than maybe taking the step into the unknown, which is terrifying. Ding dong ditch, as we're calling it, is softer way of maybe relieving the tension. Okay, fair enough.
It must be devastating though, because the guy earlier studied time dilation for 7 years, so he wasted 7 years of his life.
I think he
did.
He's just making that up.
I was going to ask Matthew a question about measurements. Are you there, Matthew?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
If I measure a 2x4, 12 inches long, does it make sense for me to calculate the spherical value of that 2x4?
No. Because 2x4s are generally rectangular or box shaped. I mean.
Okay, I'm done.
Morning, people.
Morning.
QE in yet?
Morning.
He doesn't typically arrive till after this show will be finished in politics, or right about the time we're finishing. Go ahead, whoever that was from Discord.
That was our ding dong ditcher again.
Yeah, he came back for 2 seconds.
Perfect timing.
But yeah, this topic does it's closely tied to the idea of object permanency. Like once you have it firmly established within your mind that it is a globe, that's a shape that you're not going to let go of. Not easily.
Object permanency, that's something, again, you'd be regressing to, because you learn object permanency at about like age 2 or 3, don't you? Or even earlier.
As demonstrated by the maturity level.
Oh, yes. Okay, now I'm a bit slow on the uptake. Yes, okay. Obviously now. Realise that connection. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. But once you come to an understanding and the evidence is out there that it's measured flat, it always has been, you can't stay there declaring that you're on a ball. It makes no sense.
Not on. You could reasonably suggest that you're in a ball once you know it's measured flat. You can still describe heliocentrism like on screen now, right? From within the ball that you put in motion around the sun, described from the centre thereof. Well, you could, after the fact, reasonably justify that you think, no, I work from within the ball in the heliocentric paradigm. I'm like, okay, you know you're not in the ball though, right? At which point you've got the choice. You can either say yes, which is stupid, or no, which kind of recognises your own belief in the ball when you say no. But again, for me, I don't care about the person that has to do that. It's like, you can believe whatever the hell you like. If you want to tell me that your belief is based on the ball, when I know that it's not, it's, heliocentric from within the ball, which you aren't standing, then, you can either accept or deny that, can't you?
Mr. Learns, do you believe or do you know that Earth is spherical?
I would say both. I believe the Earth is spherical, and I would say I know it because I think it's a justified true belief. I know that's not everybody's definition of knowledge, but that goes back to the definition of what is belief versus what is knowledge. So I'm comfortable saying I believe it.
So it's true because it's a justified belief. Therefore, it's true.
I would say something more like an inference to the best explanation is a good argument. Like it's a good explanation for certain phenomena.
I'm really confused. Is that a no? Then you don't know it's true.
I don't know it's true to the same extent of knowledge that I think that you're meaning. So I would say I believe it.
Well, fair enough. Do you know it's flat?
No.
That's how it's measured.
Wow.
Yeah, there are some explanations that suggest that it's flat, and there are some explanations that I think are better explained by the heliocentric model.
No. Yeah, I was going to say, no explanations, measurements. Oh, hold on, just 1 second. I just want to shout out a super chat. I'm sorry, got to pay the bills, Matthew. Just shout out to Charlie and Cat. Thank you for the super chat. If you declare with your mouth, quote, Jesus is Lord, end quote, and believe in your heart that God raised from the dead, you will be saved. Romans 10:9. Well, thank you very much for the super chat, Charlie and Cat. Really appreciate the support.
Raised
Amen.
him
I believe
from the
that too.
dead. You left out him.
My bad.
Yeah,
I'll put it up on screen.
You don't.
Yeah, John.
I was gonna say you don't give explanations for measurement. That doesn't make sense.
Right. I would say that inference to the best explanation is an argument for the truth of the heliocentric model. It's not. I wouldn't call it a proof, obviously, because it's not deductive reasoning. It's more like abductive reasoning.
No, sure, we got that with your justified belief and all that. But we're on to a different subject now. And my question was, do you know it's flat?
No, I don't.
You're unaware that it's measured flat?
I'm aware that it's measured flat, but I don't know that it's actually flat.
But you're aware that it's measured flat, but unaware that it's flat in spite of it being measured flat. That makes no sense to me.
Right. Yeah, I think that some the direct measurements of the curvature of the Earth don't exist, but the lack of those direct measurements, I don't think, are enough to say that it's therefore actually flat.
No, but I'm not referring to the. Just one sec, John. I'm not referring to the lack of measurements of a globe Earth. I'm referring to the actual measurements of the flat surface we dwell atop and measure, as opposed to explanations or lack of measurements on a globe. I'll just ask again, are you unaware that Earth is measured flat?
I am aware that the Earth is measured flat. You're talking about laser tests over long distances and that kind of thing, I assume.
I didn't mention anything specifically, whatever you like. I mean, in all examples that are useful, utilizable, Earth will be measured flat, and it always was. So, I mean, I don't care what example you use, but if you're unaware of that, it sounds like you're aware of it. But then when I say, well, why would you justify your awareness of the measurements of Earth as a flat plane, but then say, but I know there's no globe measurements, but that doesn't mean it isn't a globe, as your explanation for why you wouldn't just know it's flat because it's measured that way?
Yeah, you're right. I am aware of the measurements, but I say that due to other reasons, like I mentioned before, I still don't buy it that it's actually flat. I think there's enough evidence that the heliocentric model is correct. Enough explanations.
So, like John's 2x4, John, do you want to ask the question about the Earth with the same intonation as the 2x4 that you asked originally about?
Would it make sense for something that you consistently and constantly measure flat to calculate a radius for it?
No, that would not make sense generally with just that information, unless you have other reasons for thinking that there is radius.
If you're measuring it flat, what possible reason could you have to think other than what you've just measured is true? Why would you think anything else?
Other arguments, other reasons.
No. Just try and, in terms of the measurements specifically, though, once you've got a measurement of something...
in terms of the measurement, no.
They're not good. A measurement's not good enough. You need to move to arguments after measurements. Why?
Right. Because just measurements by themselves don't always give you the complete picture, and so sometimes arguments can contradict those.
Okay. What arguments do you have to contradict the flat Earth measurements we have then?
Inference to the best explanation, like I mentioned before. I think that explanations for the phenomena are more successful, assuming the globe than assuming that the surface of Earth is not curved.
I didn't follow that.
Hold
on.
2 days ago,
just one sec.
Nathan.
Hold on one sec. What's your objection, John? You said no in the middle of him, which is a bit rude, but go ahead.
Sorry, you're trying to give explanations. Measurement, it's what exists. What are you talking about explanations for? We can get into explanations later, but it's what exists. What are you talking about explanations now? That doesn't make sense.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just trying to answer Nathan's question. He said, hey, if the measurements show it's flat, then why on earth would you ever think that it's not flat? And my answer was because there are explanations and arguments for the heliocentric model. And so that's why. Maybe an analogy.
Stop giving him a model.
Stop interrupting him. Stop getting such a good...
Yeah, sorry. I was just going to say an analogy might be something like... if I look and I don't see any radio waves, I might initially think, oh, I haven't measured any radio waves, but visually by looking at them. But I'm open to explanations that, oh, radio waves are invisible in the visible spectrum, and there's other arguments for the existence of Wi-Fi.
Okay, so if you, just so I'm clear, if you say you can't see it, but then if you went to the extent of measuring that they were there, that would be moving on a step to confirm that which you didn't know was true until you took measurements of it, correct?
Right. That'd be a good way to put it. Yeah.
Okay, so if we're talking about Earth and we take measurements of it and it's flat,
Yes.
that would work beyond the inference that you were taking that seems to contradict those measurements. So, to affirm radio waves, we take measurements, then we know, because we measured it. With Earth, we take measurements, then we know. No arguments, we've got the measurements then, right? Flat.
So I would say similarly, like if we take measurements and it seems to be flat, but then we have good arguments for the surface being spherical, then we might look to other kinds of measurements and see if we can figure out some way of determining if it is spherical. And I think there are some, like photographs from space, eyewitness testimony. You can do calculations like Eratosthenes with sticks and shadows to figure out the height and see if it all kind of works. And I think it does.
Okay, so if we start with the last one you gave, Aristotelian, he's taking angular measurements off a flat plane also, though, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay, so in order to suggest that we're not on a flat plane, we're going to go to Aristotelian measurements of a flat plane. Correct?
Oh, I don't think Eratosthenes proves that the Earth is a globe because it's consistent with
That's not what I asked.
Also.
That's not what I asked. I said, based on what you've just told me, we measure Earth flat. You accept that. But there's arguments, okay, that we can go to suggest otherwise. And you gave off a list. One of them was Aristotelian. And I say, well, he's measuring Earth flat with elevation angles, sticks and shadows, that's elevation angles, off a flat plane. You say yes. There's a long pause. Then I summarise. So to disprove the measurements of Earth that's flat that you accept and understand, we're going to go to Aristotelian, also measuring Earth flat. Correct. Just need you to say yes. It's flat Earth measurements of angles that will debunk the flat Earth we're measuring. Yeah. Correct. That's all I need.
Yeah, I guess I should have said Eratosthenes calculated the circumference. His actual measurements are consistent with, it being flat.
I see. So we take an Earth that's measured flat, and to debunk its flatness, we go to another flat Earth measurement that uses flat Earth measurements to calculate sphericity after flat Earth measurements, to debunk the flat Earth measurements we originally took by inference of the second flat Earth measurement that is then extrapolated out into a ball. That's kind of crap. We've got two flat Earth measurements so far, though, haven't we? Why wouldn't we just accept that Earth is flat based on the two measurements you've now given us of a flat Earth? Why would we move further than the measurements? I don't understand.
Because of the strong arguments given by the inference to the best explanation.
But what are they? Okay, we've dealt with the one. It was a flat Earth measurement. What else we got? Pictures from space. When did you take them?
Not pictures from space.
Well, you did list that.
Observations.
Well, that's okay. Observations from space. What observations from space have you made?
I haven't made any.
Nathan, may I tell you
no
something
worries.
very fast?
Maybe we're talking at cross purposes. I misunderstood what you meant in that regard. What are we talking about then? Where is this place, this space that you talk of?
Sorry, I wasn't talking about space. I was talking about the looking into space. For example, the constant size of the full moon that's visible for throughout most of the Earth throughout the night of a full moon. The explanation for why it's a constant angular size, the explanation of a globe, is more successful and better explanation than any other explanation that I know of.
But why, at this point, you've given me no justifiable reason to beg the question of a globe to use it as an explanation for something that isn't the ground. I mean, the moon's fascinating and beautiful. Does this have a practical application with respect to the ground?
Yes,
just
the idea that assumption leads to a good explanation, a better explanation than any other assumption. So that would lead one to say
you've just repeated yourself. I heard it the first time. I said you've given me no Just repeat myself because you've done it. That doesn't give me a justifiable reason to beg the question of a model that, according to you, has inferred sphericity based on flat Earth measurements. Aristotelian. So I'm not going to take a sphere that's created using flat Earth angle measurements to beg the question that a model of a sphere made with flat Earth angle measurements that you've given me would be a reason to beg the question and suggest that that is a better way of describing the ground. Does this have a practical application with regard to the ground or not? What's the practical purpose of doing this?
Actually, you globetard, I will let you know
Can you
that
shut that man,
if you
please.
do
Shut
your
that man up.
research...
Shut that man up, please. What was the practical purpose of doing this exactly?
Yeah, I understand your question. I'm saying that begging the question and assuming the globe leads to a good explanation, and that in and of itself
I've twice, Matthew, twice. I've overcome this. Twice. Do I need to do it a third time? I'm interrupting justifiably because do you want to do it a fourth, fifth time? You've given me no justifiable reason to beg the question with you, sir. In fact, the justified reason you gave me was Aristotelian calculations based on flat Earth measurements. I'm not going to assume the surface is curving based on these measurements of a flat surface. Okay? So no, I'm not going to just assume by way of pure fiat the begging the question fallacy you're employing with you giving me a fourth or a fifth time. So, notwithstanding that I'm not going to allow this begging the question of a model that better explains the flat ground we've measured twice as being curved, when that curve comes from an extrapolation of a flat Earth measurement you've given me in the form of Aristotelian. Is there anything else when this, and I've asked twice and I'm not getting an answer, is there a practical application to looking at the moon with regards to the surface? A practical application? Can I assume the answer is no?
Yes, the answer is no, because
okay, thank you. I'll just take it from here, Matthew. Thank you so much for this totally useless, non-practically applied example that begs the question of a sphere measured with flat Earth angles. Thank you. I'll take it from here. We do practically apply measurements of the moon, though, don't we? We can use it in navigation, can't we?
Yes.
With measuring a flat Earth being a prerequisite with this moon, correct?
I don't think so, no.
You don't think we can measure elevation angles to the moon?
I don't think we have to use elevation angles.
So you don't think we measure, because we do this in navigation, Matthew, your denial of it is irrelevant of what we factually do in navigation. So I'll just ask a third time. Do you deny the factually accurate statement of truth that we do measure elevation angles to the moon? Are you denying this fact, sir?
No, we do.
So we do measure elevation angles with respect to a flat plane to utilise the moon in a practical way then, sir? The answer is yes.
That's right.
Yes, we do, don't we? So that's 3 flat Earth measurements so far, and 0 globe measurements. I mean, we kind of tried, you, not me, to allude to a calculation being actually exposed as a flat Earth measurement by me. The one that knows Earth's measured flat. Like you do too, don't you? You just deny it based on inference that actually uses flat Earth measurements also, and then tells me that we should justify begging the question with no reason to do so. No, these models don't explain the angles that we measure. You can't get angles from curved surfaces. And we practically apply, beyond your non-practically applied use of deciding our models explain things that lights in the sky do, with no practical purpose of doing so. We can save our lives at sea by measuring a flat Earth with respect to these lights in the sky. That's something we can do and do and have done and always will do on a flat Earth. It's the only way it can be done. That's how it is done. You understand this. Earth is measured flat. These are facts. They're not debating points. This is indisputable. That's why Matthew has to accept it immediately. And that's the end of the discussion, though. It's nice that you have a globe belief, Matthew. Go in peace and worship at the altar of heliocentrism. We've detached ourselves from the faith that you've retained. It's not justified in any way. We measure Earth flat, even in your own example, sir. Next.
I would like to add in there that when you're describing your field of view and something's angular size, like the moon's angular size, you are ipso facto describing that angular size, those arc minutes, with respect to a Cartesian plane.
Well, while there's a break, welcome to the room, Reese the Hitter and Redder. Feel free to join the conversation. What brought you to the room?
Hello, I'm just here to listen and just get a different perspectives on whatever topics at hand.
Good to have you. Flat Earth room.
I like Matthew. You know, I think Matthew is one of the more intelligent people in this discussion. The amount that he's willing to just of what he knows to be true throw away to retain a belief is shocking.
I don't. You gave him a model 3 times. He said
Do you have to
phenomena
do
3
that? Do you have
times.
to
What phenomenon?
tarnish what we've? Don't question his motive. Who cares? That's his bag. Why do you care? I mean, great. You complimented him at first, and I was like, yeah, you're right. Good guy. Thank you for the discussion. I should have really thanked him already. Thank you so much, Matthew. That was great. But in terms of his motive,
Thank
why
you.
do you
Yeah,
even care?
I'm just trying to be honest.
Good for you, and I appreciate it, as do everybody else. But now they're questioning your bleeding motive. They want something to moan about you for, it seems. But there we go.
I didn't question his motive. I said the amount that he's willing to, amount of knowledge he's willing to throw away to retain a belief is shocking. That's all I said.
Fair enough.
I'm just covering myself from QE. He said model 3 times, and he said phenomenon, and I want to know what phenomenon he's talking about. And they also want to know in chat.
There isn't one. It's category error, but I didn't want to have him on that. Sorry to talk about you in the third person now. I blame my panel entirely. Anyway.
And I complimented Matthew because he deserved a compliment.
You also gave too much respect to Danny Faulkner.
You're talking about...
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have done that because the conversation I had with him turned into Adam's conversation because he asked one question based on the line of questioning I'd led him up to on that point and stole the glory. So it's Adam's conversation now.
Most of the time, these people have earned a certain amount of respect. As much as Ph.D.s get a hard line from QE, in my opinion, they have earned that title and respect that they deserve for it. You know, whatever extent you want to, in your own mind, think that respect is due is up to you. But me, it's like, well, I don't know. When you come across someone, you're like, "What's your name?" and they say, "I'm Dr. Jones." I'm like, oh, okay. Immediately, that does still have the same magic attached to it for me. I'm like, okay, that tells me something about that person. They've got a certain amount of commitment, a certain amount of dedication to actually do the work. You're like, okay, so that tells me instantly you're not some lazy sod. Good. That takes them up 2 or 3 notches in my book that should get them a bit of respect. Now, I get QE doesn't want to give anyone any quarter for anything, ever. I don't necessarily have that view, but to each their own. But when you're like, you give them too much respect, the respect that people do get and command instantly, just based on who they are or sometimes their title, that's a societal thing that I don't mind adhering to.
I never said that. I said you gave him too much respect. And the other thing,
He's talking about me.
What's a PhD in astrophysics? What's that?
It's someone who's
someone who's
8
all
years
helpless
of their
and
life,
desperate.
minimum.
Go on, John.
It's someone who spent 8 years of their life minimum studying the movement of stars.
Right. So it demonstrates dedication, if nothing else. Again, you don't have to extend the respect in the subject matter that you're going to debate them on. But there's a certain amount of respect that that person could and should demand. Don't get me wrong, people often go above and beyond their own justifiable respect that they can command. Often we see it, in fact. But that's not the point either. Anyway, I don't know why we're discussing this. Neil saying, you get too much respect. No, not necessarily. I give people the amount of respect I think they deserve.
You gave him basically 5 minutes to give you an answer. I might be exaggerating, but that was very, very, very long. Ask the guy a question, and he takes so much time to answer. Come on, that's too much.
Do you know why, Neil? Neil, do you know why?
Tell us why, then I'll fill Discord in on who this is, because they don't know who you're talking about.
Is it cognitive
Danny
dissonance?
Faulkner was no. Danny Faulkner was giving measured answers because he knew the topic and he knew that there was pitfalls within his suppositions and beliefs, and he was trying his best to avoid them.
And when all comes to hell, just go to lunch, right? I gotta go to lunch.
Well, he took 45 minutes. He bled the clock out, didn't he? So he ran the clock down. For the audience and Discord's benefit, right? When Danny Faulkner last came, he engaged with John, and it was about half an hour. Maybe it was less. I don't know. I can't remember. But let's say it's half an hour. And that ended up getting edited down to about 10 minutes because the gaps in between the question and answer were huge. Now, I was more than willing to allow that to happen. If that's how things roll, then that's how things roll. But apparently that's, according to Neil, extending too much respect by allowing a very measured opponent to give a measured response. Like, that's not necessarily to be viewed as dead air. That's the silence as the opponent ponders the question and then delivers his response. If that takes, sometimes it was 20 seconds, sometimes it was 60 seconds of dead air. Well, that's how long it took. So what?
Yeah, I've told you before, sometimes the silence is the answer that you want.
In that case, that's not the case, though. His baseline was to be very measured and take his time with his answers. So it wasn't the case that it was suddenly out of character with a long, protracted silence. That wasn't the case. He was just like that. And I don't blame him. Again, while you're critiquing people in the respect they deserve, that sent him up one notch, in my view, Neil. 2 reasons why, statistically, he was smart to run the clock down. You get a tick from me for that, Danny. Smart man. Number 2, really thinking about what you say to us. Very, very smart indeed. Again, he goes up a notch. No, you might be shocked. You telling me that earned him more respect? Yeah, Neil, it did. Shocking, isn't it? How these things work.
Yeah, but I had him cornered by the time Adam walked in. Adam just put him in checkmate. It's like playing somebody down in chess, right? And you run the gambit with them. You're one move away from checkmate, and some dude out of the corner just walks up and moves the last piece, and it's like, you know.
No, because Adam came in. He did not know it was Danny Faulkner and treated him like a regular, everyday person and nailed his ass to the wall.
Not an everyday person. He's got something to lose.
Based on what?
Let's just correct Neil on that one point. He's got something to lose. Coming here for no good reason and delivering a measured response. Maybe he's going to get another book out of it or something. I don't know. But from my perspective, he's just got everything to lose reputationally by engaging with us, hasn't he? So you go, at the end of it, you have to go, fair play to you. Doesn't matter it took 2 minutes for a response in one instance. Who cares? Good. You should be, because you've got something to lose, mate. Take your time. I'm glad you're engaged with us in that regard. So, yeah, it for the first time demonstrates that there are stakes here. That's the point.
Hello, everybody. Can I say something?
Yeah, hold on, Chocolate. We got a new participant. I'm so Chocolate. You've got timing's terrible. Shah, go ahead. Hello.
So I'm what you call a globe-tard. But I was wondering if you can give me some. I don't know. I was wondering, were you always a flat earther, or did you once believe the Earth was a globe?
No, I came out of the vagina, smacked on the ass, and said Earth's flat. First thing I said.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Besides the troll, so you're always a flat earther, right?
Obviously not. We were all raised in the Western world society that believes the Earth is a sphere, based on what we're taught, shown in books, taught at school, etc., etc.
This is the point I want to get to. So, like, can you remember, like, you know, the defining evidence that was brought to you that made you say, okay, now the Earth is flat?
Yes, I
can you tell me what that was?
Yes, I can.
Okay, what is that? What was the evidence that convinced you that the Earth was flat?
It was the measurements of Earth and them being flat.
I mean, that's kind of circular reasoning.
Can you expand on how me explaining that Earth being measured flat was my turning point? How my justification for my turning point being that Earth is measured flat, how that could in any way be begging the question, aka circular reasoning. Can you just explain how that's circular reasoning to me, please?
Well, you're just saying that it was measured flat, so it's flat. I mean, I was expecting something more nuanced, you know, not just like, oh yeah, it was measured flat. I mean, because last time I checked, it was actually measured round.
I see. Have you ever heard of a logical consistency called modus ponens? Is that familiar term to you, sir? Are you familiar with logic? Logical
No,
consistency?
can you please educate me on that one? I am unfamiliar.
I see. So, just as you've claimed it, the begging the question fallacy, how does that work in its logical form?
Wait, circular reasoning?
Yeah, what is it
Wait, you want me to tell you how that works?
You've accused me of it, so yeah, it'd be good if you could, if
you've... the question. So it's basically a question that basically always goes on in infinite. So let's just say is, why is this video game rated 18 plus? Oh, because it's 18 plus. But why is it 18 plus? And then it's just going on forever. That's basically what a circular reasoning would be.
No.
But that's not the response I gave you.
That's incorrect.
Anyway.
It's also incorrect.
Okay, so what is circular reasoning?
You've accused me of it,
example,
so just if you could shut up while I answer you. You've accused me of it, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
But do you want to just take that shit back because you're wrong and you don't know what these words mean that you've used against me to claim I've used a fallacy when I haven't? I haven't used the fallacy you've accused me of. Not only have I not used the fallacy you've accused me of, you don't even know what that fallacy is. So given that you don't know, is it just me or is this guy talking straight through the middle of me telling him off? Is it just me or is he now talking while I'm talking? I listened to his stupid barking mad shit that made no sense and then put an answer to his stupid shit that he asked me about whether or not I've always been a flat earther, absurd question that he had the inclination to ask me. Then we get down to this nitty gritty, and what have we got? Him barking through me after accusing me of using a fallacy that he didn't even know the bleeding meaning of. What an idiot. You know, idiot. Don't accuse me of a fallacy if you don't even know what it means. Circular reasoning, you couldn't even define this fallacy, you stupid bonehead. So just to conclude what we've done here, I've told off a stupid man for his incorrect accusation of use of fallacy, in this case circular reasoning, which I did not use. Not only did I not use it, this stupid man didn't even know what that meant. So now we've squared that away, sir. That would be your stupidity, an incorrect accusation of fallacy use. Now we've squared that away. Do you want to actually address what I put to you in the first place? That'd be my justified reason for saying I'm a flat earther. That's because it's measured flat. It's not circular reasoning, you stupid idiot. It's just how it's measured. Do you hear me? You may respond, you stupid dunce.
Okay, wait, so I can respond?
When I said you may respond, that was my indication that you may respond, asking me a friggin' rhetorical question by repeating that which I've stated. Yes, you stupid dunce that needs to repeat that which I've given you permission to do while you chatter through me, reaffirming that which you've asked. Your question weren't rhetorical. Is that my chance to respond? Yeah, me saying you may respond, dunce, is your chance to respond. Now we've cleared that up for a second time with him yammering through his non-rhetorical need for affirmation that me telling him he can respond doesn't need him yammering, and it is indeed his chance to respond. I've cleared it up for a second time, dunce. Yes, third time, dunce. Once I'm done talking will be the time for you to start talking again, and hopefully not seek an affirmation that I'm telling you can respond. Okay, dunce?
Yes, sir. Okay. I'm just gonna respond with like this video clip I heard you do once. Why did you smack your child?
I know what you're saying.
Wow.
I didn't hear what he's saying.
He's talking about that video they made of you hitting your kid, supposedly.
Kick him out.
Let me get this straight. This kid's just accused me of child abuse. this arsehole. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
So, for the audience's benefit, when you lose, you accuse me of being a child abuser. That's how you roll when you're a globe believer. Yeah? Not only will you fall shy of accusing me of use of fallacy, when that absolute horse shit is ripped to shreds, you'll accuse me of hitting my kids. I see.
Oh, he certainly called it correct when he called himself a globetrotter. That was pathetic, buddy. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, go and join the server that Brenda's in. Yeah? Debate trans rights and globe rights with Brenda in some dickhead server where you can claim I'm a child abuser. Now, I homeschool my kids. I love them dearly.
Sacked. I send mine to public school. I don't like them that much. But anyway,
No, just home. That was a bad connection. Yes, fair play, John. Good point. Just homeschooling doesn't mean I love them any more or less than anybody else, and that's not a justifiable reason to suggest I do love them. I'll just say it on its own, in isolation. I love my kids dearly. I do not beat them. I have never hit them. There you go.
If anybody's seen you interact with your kids, they are definitely not afraid of you, Nathan.
What do you say? They're not afraid of me.
Why are we talking about this non sequitur? The dude the guy just came on here and said that measurements are begging the question, Neil. He just told Nathan.
They definitely fear me. They know I can punish them, Neil. I'm not suggesting that their primary sense about me is fear, but I'm just saying if I go, you will not do that or you'll be in timeout, they know to do what I'm telling them, and that you could call that fear.
No,
not just love and cuddles. They're naughty. They have to be disciplined.
If somebody's hitting their kids, you could see it. The kids are afraid of them in a different way.
Oh, okay.
You don't have command of them, of course.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, they're not scared of me because I'm going to do horrible things to you, which is what these arseholes come and imply.
Oh, mine totally are. But let's move on because that's kind of why would you ever say measurement is begging the question?
It isn't.
Anybody that's ever took a measurement, did they beg the question?
No. If I give a measurement to my foreman, he's not going to turn around and say, "Did you just beg the question?"
Hey, Neil, how much size is that 2x4?
Have you considered the arguments against the measurement?
Don't be mean. Yeah, it is akin to Neil, being asked by his foreman, go and measure that piece of wood. And he comes back and he goes, it's 30 inches long. And he looks Neil in the eye and says, that's kind of circular reasoning, isn't it?
But that's exactly what Matthew Learns did. It's pathetic.
No. Not Matthew Learns. The last guy did that, not Matthew Learns.
No, Matthew Learns did do that.
Rent free, Matthew, rent free. Telling you.
Yeah, I don't like picking on Matthew because Matthew's, I don't know, something about him I like. He seems like a guy that he's
I don't mind. I can take it.
He's trying to compliment you.
Well, Matthew's not a jerk, right? He doesn't do personal attacks.
Yeah, that's unkind and not very righteous.
Well, I've got nothing to say here. I've indulged in enough personal attacks, so I've got nothing to say. If your slate's clean, good for you.
If you want personal attacks and to be abused, you got to speak to Peter the Glober.
Rob Noxious. Rob Noxious is like if Matthew Learns turned evil. Because I like Rob Noxious too.
I will say that I have had some pretty funny moments listening to Rob Noxious, and he can be quite funny.
Yeah, but then he flips out of nowhere, and just like when his back is against the wall, then the real Rob Noxious comes out.
Or you could phrase it, the mask slips.
Yeah, that's even better.
Or you could say that he regresses to, childish behaviors.
You could say that.
Yeah, and he has. He also accused. I don't want to bring it up again, but you know what I'm talking about. He said it a few times.
Timmy, when he said that about me being the best character on the show, the dumb hillbilly, that was pretty good.
I sell propane and propane accessories. Right. With that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to the Politics Discord server for allowing us to be here on a Friday, as ever. Really, really appreciate their moderation team for putting up with me getting all narky with their guests. But of course, a massive thank you to my cheapest panel as well for making today's live show possible. If you're watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked,
and wasn't as contentious as it typically is. So that was nice.
No, you see, Matthew, if we don't speak up, then QE comes in and indicts us all. We get pulled to the ringer. You're not privy to it. But if we're not on point, we get addressed by QE.
No, you
and
get addressed by QE. I don't.
Yeah, you didn't listen to what Matthew said. Matthew, would you say what you said just again so Neil can hear it?
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying that was surprisingly pleasant. So thank you.
Because of why?
Because Nathan got it out of himself early on.
Because the topics also.
Nathan was in a good mood today.
Did it have to do with any the contentiousness of any of the points not being argued?
Yeah, that probably had something to do with it. Yeah.
Like we didn't challenge you on model or phenomenon, right? That made it easier.
Correct.
Right.
Probably made it nice and pleasant for you because we don't have a problem if you choose to have a belief.
Let's get up to that mic.
Model.
Got it here.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
About the same.
A little low.
A little low, but try again.
Give me a second.
No worries.
Matthew, just because we didn't challenge you on the model or the phenomenon don't mean that we won't now. Neil, go ahead and get him.
Yeah, that's fine.
What model? What phenomenon?
So, look, I do admit that my inference to best explanation begins with an assumption. That's how those arguments begin. And so that's just the way it's not a deductive argument. I admit that.
We're not appealing to the logic. We're appealing to the words that you said.
What's not deductive argument?
Model.
Hold on. It's just let him hold him to task on phenomena or model, then whoever else wants to pipe up, feel free.
I'm lost. Who said what?
All they want you to do is justify your use of the word A, model, and B, you suggested there was a phenomena to be observing. So that's it. They just want to hold you to task on it, and they're justifying it because they're a big girly scaredy cats by saying QE will hold them to task if they don't do this.
Okay.
Matthew, I just so you know, QE pointed out that me giving ground to have a discussion with someone I started calling an atom a convention, and I'm never going to live that down for the rest of my life. So I can't let you go on this. I'm sorry.
By model, I just mean sort of the general definition of that word being a set of descriptions and explanations and geometrical shapes, maybe that approximate reality. It doesn't say anything about actual reality. It's just a way to kind of get at the ideas. That's not a very good explanation. Well, so for example, I have a 12-inch paper mache globe on my desk, and I would call that a model that shows the relative sizes and shapes and locations of the oceans and continents. Now, obviously, it doesn't, it leaves lots of details out, but it does show some of the ideas. So that's what I would call a model, just like a model airplane or a model car.
Funny that you called it a paper mache. Wow.
No, it just means he's got a globe on his desk.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but usually a model car or model airplane, that is the car that is
Hold on.
already in existence.
Neil's left an. When you say paper mache, you just mean a globe model, as in it doesn't matter if it's got a bleeding light inside it and it's a kid's toy that's got what looks like maps on it and is globe shaped. It doesn't matter that you said paper mache, right? That's kind of irrelevant, right?
Yeah, I was trying to distinguish. I'm talking about a 12-inch model, not the Earth.
Yeah, it's just a globe on his desk.
I know that, Nathan, but come on, we've had described that the globe is like a paper mache.
Yeah,
You
I know
put
that.
your whole way through it. It's kind of funny that he used that terminology.
Maybe.
But Neil, you've not challenged him any further on his use of the word model.
Yeah.
Are you going to let that definition go?
I already did. That's not a model.
Oh, metaphorically, hypothetically, he's conjured one for you to. No, you're not standing in the same room, so he can't slap a physical globe down on the desk next to you, can he? But hypothetically, for the discussion, he's saying, yeah, just imagine a globe on my desk next to me. It's globe shaped, it's got maps on it. There's my model. If you ask me for a model, that's what I'm pointing to. That's what he's pointed to, Neil. Next, you, Neil.
That's not a model. That's not the heliocentric model. That's a globe.
Well, it's part of the heliocentric model. It's a small part, the relative shapes and sizes of the continents.
Okay, my next question. Show me the model. Show it to me right now. Put it up. Put it up in chat.
You can't
Wherever
do
you
that.
do it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Matthew.
What?
No, he's giving it you hypothetically, Neil. We're not in the same room, so you're just going to have to accept what he's giving you as an example is a hypothetical globe on his desk. That's it. That's what you've got to deal with.
Hypotheticals are not reality.
Oh my God, Neil.
The use of the word model is not the problem.
There you go. Get him, Brian.
No, 1 second. The use of the word model is not the problem. That's just a word in the English language. It's defining which model you're claiming is the problem. So if you're saying, I have this model, you have to define what type of model it is.
What kind of globe is it on your desk, Matthew?
That if asked.
What kind of globe you got on your desk, Matthew? Do you want to give us a bit more? Did you get it from Sears? What kind of globe?
He said
from a teacher's supply store.
Hello, I've just asked him something. Shh. Go ahead, Matthew. Sorry.
Yeah, it's from a teacher's supply store. It's made of cardboard and plastic, and it costs like $40-something.
More detail about it. Describe it. Just give. Neil needs more to go on in terms of what you're calling a model, a globe that you get for teaching purposes from Sears or wherever for $40. Just describe a bit more for him so he doesn't say, "Oh, I don't know what he's talking about. It's not a real model."
Yeah, and it actually floats in space above my desk magically, and it spins on its own every 20. No.
Oh, that's cute.
That's all you're getting, Neil. Take it or leave it.
Holy shit, I gotta see that. Now I'm interested.
So Neil, if I have a model airplane and I point to you say, give me a model of a 747, I'm like, okay, here's my model airplane of a 747. It's like 5 inches long. obviously that's not the airplane. It can tell us a few things about the airplane, like the relative sizes and shapes, and it may be useful in kind of visualizing what an actual 747 looks like. But obviously, it's not the actual thing. It's just a useful fiction that describes what we think the actual 747 looks like.
No, you could build the 747 from that model. Okay, now
Neil, you're
build
missing
me
it.
a world from your model.
No, Neil, you're missing it.
Hold on.
How do you
Hold on,
create
John.
a
Hold
model,
on.
Matthew?
Hold on. Got to summarize now. Just saying no, you can't create a globe. Like if you scaled up the model of a 747 in your example, you could eventually reach an actual 747. But with the globe example, Neil saying no, you can't do that with the globe on your desk. That's where we're at.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think it does scale up and you think it doesn't. So if you're asking me what do I think reality is like, that's why we offer models. We say, hey, this is a model for what a certain part of reality likes as a way of explaining what we think the actual Earth is like.
No, but you can't do that now that Earth is measured flat.
Hold on, Brian. Say again, Neil.
You can't say that now. Earth is measured flat. There is no globe. As a matter of fact, your globe came from flat Earth elevation angle measurements.
Did it?
Right. So those are arguments for the non-existence of an actual globe. I'm merely saying that my model is an explanation of what we think is happening. Now, if you want to move on to like arguing for or against it, that's a separate topic. I'm just trying to answer the question of what is a model.
Hold on just 1 second, Brian. Just hold on. Just hold on. Neil, did you hear what he said?
A little bit.
You need me to summarize what Matthew just put to you?
He's broke up a little bit.
He's saying he represents the world that he sees as that globe, and he suggests you can scale it up. Now, he's not going to produce a globe equivalent of the actual 747, but that's what he supposes. That's what he's put to you.
Essentially, I think what you've done is you put this so-called model of yours in a different category altogether, right? Because
Wait for
I'm
Neil.
talking about a 747.
Hold on. I'm waiting for Neil's response. Neil's had something put back to him.
You want me to give an answer for that?
Yeah, he's saying you can scale it up. That's what he. I don't want to put words in his mouth.
Scale it up for me.
Hold on,
Scale
Neil.
it up.
Neil, you've left protracted silences and now I'm answering you. No, he's suggested that I don't want to put words in his mouth, but believes he can scale it up. That's how I can't remember the exact words he used. I'm paraphrasing. Right? That's what he's put to you.
Okay, so he has a belief that Earth is a globe. Okay, now we're at somewhere.
Deliberately caveated that I said that word, not him. Anyway, it could be scaled up, says he.
Go.
You're all going wrong.
Don't care where it's going. Neil's in charge. Go ahead, Neil.
Show. You could scale it up. Show.
Well, that's it, Matthew. It's just asking you to show him.
Show me the model.
I guess I'm not sure how to answer that.
I'll show you the 747 scaled up. Show me the Earth scaled up as a globe.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can't make a scaled up version of that model. That model merely is a way of describing for you what I think the shape is. I can't show you that.
Can I now say something, Nathan? Just briefly.
Ask Neil.
I'm finished. I finished a long time ago. I've already won. He has no model.
No, you haven't.
I was going to.
No, you haven't won.
Hold on a minute. Like, what? You're gonna claim that one as a victory?
Neil shouldn't be claiming anything if this hasn't been concluded. He's just said, yeah, I can scale up what I've got as a globe on my desk. That's where we're at. Neil
I've
wants
But you have it
already
all
asked him. I said Earth is measured flat.
Yeah,
How are
they
you
do.
going to tell me
Yeah, they
now
do,
that it's a
Brian.
globe model?
Can everyone accept Neil? Just step off just for a second. Okay, yeah, we got that. He heard you put that to him. Do you want to point out that he didn't respond? It's up to you, Neil.
It's up to me for what?
You're moaning to me that you put to him that Earth is measured flat. Okay, well, now I'm doing your job for you. If I point out, well, that seems non sequitur unless you connect it to what he actually. Or you could just talk straight through me. Protracted silences and getting straight talk through the middle of me. Or you could throw in the towel and talk while I'm talking, Neil. I think you're done. Go ahead, John. Thank you, Neil. Thank you.
Brian's getting ready to make my point. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
Thank you, John. When we take a 747, the Boeing 747, scaled down model, right? We have a scaled down, right, scale model of a Boeing 747. If we take something like a spaceship from Star Wars, that within Star Wars, within that paradigm, is claimed to be 1.5 kilometers long, and we scale it down to 8 inches long, right? That's a scaled down model. Now, the difference is the Star Wars model is based out on a paradigm within a movie or a franchise. It's fantasy. The 747 model is based on an actual real thing in reality. The globe model that Matthew has on his desk at work or whatever, that's claimed to be a scaled down model based off of reality of us living on a globe. And that's where the problem starts. Because that's not the same as the Star Wars model, and it's not exactly the same as the 747 model. But it's closer to the 747 model, with the exception of we can show the 747. If you're claiming that you have a scaled down model of a globe, a scale model of a globe out on your desk, then that has to have been scaled down from something in reality if you're claiming that's reality. And that's where the problem lies.
Yeah, that's actually a fair point.
Everyone else, shut up.
Yeah.
He's had it put to him, now he's responding. Can you not hear him? Sorry, Matthew, go ahead.
Yeah, so I would say that's a fair point. Just because I have a model of something does not mean the actual thing exists. I mean, that would be a reification fallacy, right? If I made a 747 model in 1930 and said, "Hey, look at this," that would be a model of nothing, something that doesn't exist yet, right? So yeah, and I posted in the Discord chat a model of the Death Star. So for example, just because somebody has a model of the Death Star from Star Wars, and I like that example, your Star Wars example, doesn't mean it actually exists. So me having a model of the globe doesn't mean the globe exists. It's merely a way of explaining what we think the Earth is like. It doesn't prove that the Earth is like that. It's just a way of explaining it.
Sure, but Brian's just put to you that it must be scaled down from something, though, right? I think he's, not to put words in Brian's mouth, but I think he's asking what's it scaled down from. Am I right, Brian?
Yes, but it's even deeper than that, because you've then got to define what type of model it is. And this is where QE jumps in. What model is it? What type of model is it? Because if you're just claiming a scaled down model of a globe out that you believe that you live on, right, and you believe it to be X size, right, that's all right. Then that's you scaling a scaled down model of what you believe the Earth to be. But the scaling down, if it's truly a scale model of a reality, then you would have to show that in reality. And Matthew already gets that point. And if you're going to it's like you have to claim what type of model it is that you're talking about. Like if you have a scaled down model of something, you've got to state whether it's a scale, whether you're actually claiming it's a scaled down model of something in reality, or if it's something you believe in or something from fantasy. The point being is that if you're claiming it from reality, then you've got to show what it was scaled down from. Go on.
Nobody has defined a model.
Yeah.
I thought you were going my direction with it. Nobody's defined a model. You have to have measurements to make a model. What measurements are you basing your model off of?
Oh, Don, I asked him that.
Neil, thank you. So the question to Matthew is, what measurements are you basing your model on? Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I'd be comfortable saying that the globe model on my desk is a scaled down model of my belief of what, or somebody's belief of what the shapes are. And what it's based on is typically things like cartography and distances between cities and sizes of oceans and all, those kinds of assumptions. I think it's okay to just say it's a model of.
Can you all shut up? Can you not hear him talking?
So it's basically a model of our belief.
Model of your belief.
Yeah, and then he asks a good question, like, how would we show that it's actual? Well, that's a separate question. Like, okay, so now if we want to see if this accurately represents reality, we could do things like, are the distances to cities correct? Do flight paths work over this? Do the oceans seem to be about the same size, the right size? All those kinds of things we might look at.
I didn't ask that. I stated that the measurements that you gave just now, especially if you're talking about a change in latitude and longitude, giving you a different distance across the surface, it's a flat Earth measurements. Why do you have them in the shape of a sphere?
Why do we have them in the shape of a sphere? Because this spherical model is a representation of our beliefs of where things are.
No, that's not why you have them there. You don't know, do you?
Does the origin of the model matter? I mean, I'm saying here's the model that we have.
Absolutely.
You're questioning the origin.
Absolutely. Do you know why the positions on that ball that's in front of you? Do you know how they come to be?
Celestial navigation. You can figure out distances between cities and continents.
And you conceded earlier that you used flat Earth elevation angles to establish these distances.
I concede that you use elevation angles.
Okay. So Earth's flat, and the creation of your model uses the flat Earth measurements then?
I don't think they are flat Earth measurements, but that's a separate topic. And besides the origin, I would say the origin.
Hold on. It's not a separate topic. We discussed it not 20 minutes ago, you and I.
Yes.
Right. So we've already established this conclusively, that they're definitely flat Earth measurements.
Yes, they're based on the horizontal being flat.
Okay. So in conclusion, when we look at the globe model, your justification beyond it's just, a scaled down version of my belief, but the measurements to create the scaled down version of what you thought was actually based on your belief isn't based on your belief, is actually based on flat Earth measurements.
Yes.
Earth's flat.
Yeah, it's game over now.
I do feel like Neil said all these things in the beginning.
It's not a model, because a model is a scale of measurements. If you have the surface being curved and you measured it flat, it's not a model. What you have is a deformation using a mathematical formula to make the surface into a ball and conform to the celestial sphere. That's not a model.
Like, Matthew, which one do you go to confirm? Like, do you go to the model first, or you go to the to the world first, and then which one goes on what?
Go to the reality first, the measurements first. I mean, the creation, that's the point. The creation of this globe comes from the measurements of reality, and they're flat.
Globe?
Yeah, Neil said that too.
Did you say globe?
Exactly. Thank you very
Can everyone
much.
else step off? I don't know if Matthew wants to add anything. If he doesn't, then that's fine.
No, there's nothing to add.
Please, I'm coming here every fucking 6 months and
Please don't swear.
shit on you.
Please don't swear. You've got an awful mic.
Let's go again. No, not really. It's been a very good night.
Can I help you, Splash?
Yes, you're not bad.
You okay, Splash?
Hot micing.
You're hot micing, it seems.
I'm fine. I'm not that drunk today, actually. I'm not drunk.
Nobody said you were. We were just asking if you were hot micing or trying to participate. Well, mods have made the decision for us. Thank you so much. On that note, actually, thank you so much for having us, as always. It's been really nice in the politics server. Thank you, mods.
Problems. Picked up in the end there.
And thank you to the Globe participants, sparse though they were.
Yeah, the point of it was to get him to say it. That's what I did.
But he already did. He said it's a belief. Come on.
He's entitled to that, though.
No, Nathan said that originally, and then he turned and jumped on that when I cornered him.
No. He said it before too. He said belief a million times today.
Yeah, he did. But we can discuss this amongst ourselves after the fact, because I'm going to round out. So with that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to Politics Discord and my G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.